What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stranger Things Has Happened, Season 2, Episode 4, Will the Wise.
Wow.
What an episode, right?
Wow. Oh, my gosh. This season is just like getting better and better and better. Every single episode.
It really is. It's really ramping up.
I was seriously holding my breath for half of it. Like, oh my gosh. Totally unpredictable still. Like,
right. I mean, this episode starts off right where we left off last week, right? Will's sitting there, not moving. Everyone's freaking out.
Yeah. Joyce speeds to the school.
Right.
She peels into that parking lot. She kind of parks sideways in the grass, runs into the school, runs into the AV room. Nobody. And she's like frantic at this point. And then she hears Dustin calling for Will. And she runs up to Dustin. She's like, "Where's Will?" Don't know. Lucas, you got to get out to the field. He's in the field. Run out to the field. You see Mike's with Will, and Will's just kind of like there, but he's not there.
Right.
He's totally not there. He's like almost in dream state. Like, holy shit. And still, that shadow creature is still pouring into every orifice of his body. Like,
gross, but okay.
Totally possessing him. It's possession. It's not icky. It's possession.
Oh, it's all fine if it's possession.
It's possession. It's totally different ballroom.
Yeah, possession's 9/10 of the,
Exactly, 9/10 of the law.
Yeah, 50 Shades of Tornado.
50 Shades of Tornado. 50 Shades of Black Shadow Goo.
Right. There is black shadow goo in this episode for sure.
Hell yeah. And then, of course, Max hasn't a clue.
She's like legit pissed now.
She's legit pissed. Mike says, this is 2 episodes in 2 days, Mike and Lucas and Dustin are talking and they're like, it's getting worse. And Lucas is like, could it be true sight? And Max is like, what's true sight? And like, you see Mike and Dustin like giving Lucas like the eye, like, shut the hell up, dude. We get back to Will's house. Will not talk to Joyce. He's like, it's nothing really. Nothing happened. Only he doesn't know that Joyce knows. Joyce gets up, runs and gets the scribbles that she made from the movie on the wax paper. And she shows Will.
Right. More or less like, I know, kid.
I know.
Let's talk about it.
I know. This is not in your head. This is real. No more secrets. And, Will starts pouring out like, I have no idea. It's just a feeling. I saw it again. I tried to make it go away this time. Mom, it got me. It got me, Mom. And he just starts to cry. He can feel it all over. And, Joyce is just being her fierce mama bear self at this point.
That's your favorite.
Yes, it is. I love her. I really do love her. Winona Ryder, like, I know we talked about her in season 1. She is just fantastic at this role.
Right. She's quite incredible, really.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as actresses go, like in
Mhm.
general, Winona Ryder's kind of top tier. She really
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. I mean, she's Gen X. Good job.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's obviously the best Gen
Of course it is.
X one.
You know, just nobody else, none of the other generations give a shit. You know what? And that's okay with me.
Yeah.
They leave us
don't know.
alone.
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't.
Someday they'll know.
Someday they'll know. But not today.
Not today, bitch.
Not today. So now it's dusk, okay? And Elle is walking through the forest and gets to her front yard. Hopper's on the porch. Elle just goes in and slams the door, and Hopper and Elle go back and forth. You know, typical father, daughter, parent, teenager argument right here. Hopper lies. Hopper's like, I don't lie. I feed you and I protect you, you know, and
right.
Yeah, Elle's like, I hate you. You're just like Papa. And of course that tweaks Hopper's nerve. And he's like, you know, screw that idiot. And, you know, that wackadoo. He's like, you want to go back to the lab? Because we can go back to the lab. And
I
like,
loved the like the parental quality that this fight has. You know, because I mean, Elle obviously is a teenage girl, but Hopper's not her dad.
Yeah, but he's doing every bit of what a dad does, you know,
Right.
like he's into this role. So what does he do? He grounds Elle. He's like, no Eggos, no TV for a week. And except Elle has superpowers, and Hopper goes to lift the TV up, and Elle's just like forcing it to the ground. And she's like, no. He's like, fine, 2 weeks. And he's like, fine, a month. And Elle's still being her, you know, preteen self. So he rips the cord out of the TV and he's like, fine, no TV ever.
Right.
Which that's when she breaks, like, no. I mean, like, what kid wouldn't, you know?
Well, and the TV's kind of her best friend.
Exactly, because that's how she communicates, you know. That's like telling my teenage daughters they couldn't talk on the phone for a month, you know.
Right. That's exactly what our parents used to do to us. Hey, no phone. What?
My children are really good kids, but when they were in their teenage years, I remember the first time with my oldest, I said, until you learn how to talk to me, you're not going to talk to the rest of the world. And I took away her cell phone, her laptop, her Amazon tablet, you know, her iPod, you know, anything that she could have used to talk to somebody. I took it all away. I did that
to TJ a couple of times, and I just come out of her room with a stack of electronics.
Yeah. Like even electronics that she didn't even use, but there was a possibility she could have.
Yeah, they're not going to be on this Nintendo DS either, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I do believe I took the Nintendo DS too. That little.
Yep.
So then Elle totally freaks out. Hopper calls her a brat. Elle starts flinging books and the couch, and you know, finally goes into her room, slams the door, and screams and busts all the windows to shit. It's like,
yeah, that was fucked up. I was just, as an adult, I was like, damn it, windows are expensive.
That's what I was thinking. Like, as a mom, I'm like, dude, look at that mess. It's November. It's going to get cold, you know? Right. I mean, I know they have a wood stove, but still there's no windows.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. That's where my mind went.
The grown-up in me was just like, fuck.
Yes. Like, oh, you brat, dude. Can't beat them.
Yeah.
Can't beat kids. It's child abuse. So what are you going to do? Hopper did the best he could. He's a cop.
Yeah.
Of course, if I was a cop, I would have thrown the handcuffs on her, but she was already whipping a couch into his
What?
knee.
Yeah. What good would that have done? She did just
Yeah.
like undid the links or something, and then
Yeah. Exactly.
pop the lock in the.
Man, I don't envy Hopper at this point. He's got a
No.
hard job to do. And then just a quick Jonathan, he's looking for Will and Joyce and finds Joyce all snuggled up with Will doing her protective mom thing. But Will kind of looks all weird, like his eyes are like in heavy REM state, like hardcore dreaming or something weird.
Right.
So I thought that was weird. It was weird enough for me to write it down. Then we shoot over to Nancy's house. Their nuclear family of 4 are having breakfast. I'm sorry, family of 5. And Nancy's like, I'm gonna go sleep over Stacy's house tonight. We're gonna have a slumber party and blah blah blah. And Mom's like, oh, that sounds like fun. And yeah, of course you can go. And so she leaves her house and says bye. And she hops into Jonathan's car. Because she's not going to school like she's supposed to, even though she has her school book. She's skipping school again. Joyce is still trying to get a hold of Hopper.
8 times.
8 times. 8 times. Will wakes up and she's like, how do you feel, honey? And he's like, I still feel weird. And, Mom's like checking his head as moms do. She takes his temperature.
Mm-hmm.
He's not running a fever. He's 95 freaking degrees, which is so weird.
Right.
He's completely out of it. So she goes and starts to draw him a nice warm bath to make him warm up. We shoot over to Dustin's house, and he's talking to Dart. And, D'Artagnan's still in the turtle tank. He's slightly bigger, but I would say the size of a large bullfrog.
Mm-hmm.
He feeds him his 3 musketeers for the day, and then he goes to school. He gets to school, he finds Lucas in the dumpster. It made me laugh because they're still looking for D'Artagnan.
Right.
They start kicking through the garbage and stuff. The only thing they did find was this big fat roach, which was like, oh. I have a thing about roaches. I'm not scared of roaches. I just don't like them because I was born in Staten Island in New York City in a shitty apartment building. And my last memory before we moved up here was killing roaches. So I
thought you were going to be like, well, I like to save up enough of them so then I can just smoke them.
Not those roaches. Those roaches are totally different ball game.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Different
palmetto bugs are way grosser than roaches to me.
I've heard that.
They're
like
so
Shanti
big. They're like this big.
Pictures. Yeah, like
they're huge.
Dude, those are like mammoth roaches.
I put a full can of beer on top of one, and the palmetto bug drug the can of beer across the balcony until he could go out to the bottom, and he spilled my beer. I'm like, you dick.
And then he went over and drank it.
No, he fucked off. But
you could just fuck right off, palmetto bug.
He did. He fucked right off with half of my beer.
That bug's a dick.
Yeah.
So after the whole school scene, we shoot back over to Will again, who's about to get into the tub. We hear an overlay of the science teacher talking about fear, different signs of fear, and we're watching Will go through all of those signs of fear, and he's like freaking afraid of the bathtub. And we see him go out, and he tells his mom that it's too hot as he's draining the bathtub, and it was like the perfect temperature. So and Joyce is like, honey, we could have cooled it off. And Will's like, he likes it cold. It's like, dude, what the fuck? He likes it cold. That was like, oh, that was like creep factor of 10 right there. Oh, Hopper, we flash over to him. He's knocking on Elle's door. And it looks like he almost apologized.
Right.
But he needed to be a firm parent. So instead of apologizing, he said, if you clean up this mess before I get back, I'll think about fixing the
TV. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like the parents' way of apologizing, because he already said no TV forever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how parents are. So then we hear over the radio, you know, trying to get a hold of Hopper in the truck. Mm-hmm. You know, Joyce Byers called you 8 times, you know, and Hopper's like, whatever, and he blasts his radio.
Right.
So now we're in the gym again, and Steve is playing basketball again with Billy. I don't like Billy. There's something I really hate about Billy. I'm not sure what it is. It's not just that he's an asshole kid. Mm-hmm. There's something I don't like about Billy. I wonder if he has like a number tattooed on his wrist somewhere.
There's definitely there's something intensely fucked up about him.
Yeah.
And I haven't decided what it is. And you know, like he was saying that she's not his little sister.
Yes.
But he's also like, and we're stuck with each other or whatever. Yeah. Like there's something going on.
Something. I really I hate that kid. So he's like, you know, playing jerk basketball and shit, you know, showing off and throwing Steve on the floor. He goes to help Steve up, and it's almost like he's offering constructive criticism.
Yeah, he legit gives him a piece of advice.
Yeah, but leaves him on the floor because he's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all go and take a shower together.
Like they do.
And they're still making fun of Steve and like antagonizing him with you know, the princess was with the freak's older brother again, you know. Don't worry, there's plenty of bitches in the sea. I'll be sure to leave you some. So like
I never have enjoyed that part of guys. Like, you know, like I just went through a divorce. Guy come up to me like 2 weeks after, like, so you hitting any new tail? No.
Really?
No, I'm not. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. It was one day. They've been broken up for one day.
Like she just told me at breakfast she didn't want to be together anymore, and I'm already supposed to be out fucking ripping new shred. Come on.
Right. But I don't know. They're trying to recruit Steve back to the dark side, you know.
Apparently.
And that freckle-faced kid, was that Tommy again?
I think so. That kid's been an asshole throughout.
Such an asshole. Ugh. So now we flash back over, you know, since we talked about Nancy and all, now we're with Nancy and Jonathan in the park because Nancy wants to go and tell Barb's mom everything, you know, talking on the bugged line. And of course, she's all paranoid and stuff, and she's taking, you know, she's looking at that guy staring at her and those chicks staring at her, and that guy looks like he's trying to feed the ducks, but there's no ducks, you know.
Right.
So she's like, we have to go, you know. Stranger things are happening on the screen. So like, of course the car won't start, and one of the weirdos that were staring at her is like, oh, do you need a ride? And they start looking up and looking all around, looking behind them. And their cars are completely surrounded.
Right. And won't start.
And the car won't start. So the guy's like, are you sure you don't need a ride, sweetheart? And he's like, fuck you.
Right. I guess we're going one way or another.
Exactly. So now we're at Joyce's house because we know Jonathan and Nancy are going off to the lab. So back at Joyce's house, Hopper finally gets in. Hopper gets there and all the doors and the windows are open. He's like, are you know, like, what the hell? It's freaking freezing out here. And Joyce's like, just come in. they get over to Will. Will's not even wearing a shirt. So like,
right.
whoa. Joyce starts telling Hopper about the drawings and about how Will is not having PTSD. This is really occurring. Hopper's trying to question Will about the shadow thing. Asking him questions and like, how do you know that? He just knows. Will saying that the shadow thing doesn't talk to him. He just knows things like old memories in the back of his head, only they're not his memories. But all the memories are happening now, like in now time. So it's like really weird. He doesn't know how to explain himself. He starts crying again. He says it's growing, it's spreading and killing. Will starts losing it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to get him to explain anything because he just doesn't know. And Joyce looks up and sees Will the Wise, a picture that he drew hanging up in his room. She's like,
yeah.
Can you draw it? And Will's like, hell yeah, I can draw it. So he starts going frantic, like frantically
like a fucking laser printer.
Yes. He scribbles on one page, throws it, scribbles on the next page. And now we're at the school. The boys are trying to call Will, and they're not answering the phone. Where am I? Mike needs a meeting with the gang without Max. Mike tells Dustin and Lucas about Will's visions.
Right.
They're speculating about the shadow thing. They need to acquire more knowledge, and they need to find Dart because it's definitely connected, which Dustin is still covering up that Dart's at home.
Right.
Yeah, like Dustin has grown this attachment to Dart.
Which seems really weird. Like, Dustin should be very much aware of the gravity of anything weird going on. Like,
yeah,
he should totally been like, oh, this thing doesn't look like it belongs on this planet. We've got an issue.
But he's totally attached to it. Like, almost like this thing has a weird control over him, but it doesn't, but it does, but it doesn't.
He's so obsessed with it being some kind of new creature.
Yeah, he's very protective of it. So just so weird. We go over to Elle's house. Elle looks at the TV, sees that the wires are fried. There's no way she knows how to fix it. So she starts cleaning up. And I'm like, oh, good. She's cleaning up the glass.
Right.
She stood the bookshelf back up. She started putting things back on the shelf. She's sweeping. She finds a trap door under the couch. So now she opens up that trap door because why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would have.
Yeah. It's like a little crawl space where there's like tons of boxes of shit, like one says New York, one says Dad, one says Vietnam, and one says Hawkins Lab.
So I was wondering, do you think that means that Hop had been in Vietnam?
I think so. I really
because this is like the early 80s.
It's what, 84 now?
Yeah, and
1984.
Hop is maybe 40.
Yeah.
So that'd be
seems like our age.
He would have been 20 in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting thought. I mean, I was just like, well, hadn't considered the fact that these people would have been, around their 20s during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, totally feasible. And it also explains why he kept insisting that PTSD is a very real thing.
Right.
like this whole season so far, all he kept telling Joyce was how real PTSD is,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if he was in Vietnam, he knows all too well about
Sure.
that. So, you know, even though it's just like boxes, you know, just boxes in storage, like it actually gives us like backstory to Hopper.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty cool. But he labeled one Hawkins lab. Like, why didn't, if you're gonna hide something, don't label it, dude.
Right.
You know,
well,
but
I think I think that file box probably came from the precinct. So it probably labeled before, and
right.
then he was like, "Oh, I have to hide this now because I told these people I would."
That makes sense. That makes sense. I thought it was his own personal research when he was trying to figure out
I bet you it's everything from the police station.
You're probably right. Because that makes more sense than the story that I came up with in my head. Yeah.
Ta-da! I helped.
Ta-da! You helped. So while Elle is reading about all the Hawkins lab files that Hopper has in this box, we go over to the lab, and there's Jonathan and Nancy. And Nancy, the Spitfire that she is, she's screaming at the camera. And who opens the door? Dr. Paul Reiser, which I still don't remember the doctor's name that he plays. So
yeah, I'm not sure it fucking matters. He's Dr. Paul.
I'm still calling him Dr. Paul Reiser. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about my hospitality." Like, he's such a total douche, man. Yeah, my hospitality isn't that good. Let's go for a walk. So
I don't entirely buy him as a scientist either, which maybe seems weird.
Yeah.
Like, but there's maybe it's because I know so much Paul Reiser stuff.
Yeah.
That maybe I'm just like having trouble with even accepting that he's a science-y kind of guy.
Yeah. He's such a douche. Well, he plays a douche. He's
playing a douche.
I don't know if he's a douche in real life.
That's true.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, mistakes have been made, and that's why they hired me." And Nancy's like, "You killed Barbara." And he's like, "Yeah, mistakes were made by man. Man created those mistakes, and all those men are gone now." And it's like, well, I wonder if Nancy knows that they're all gone because they all got eaten by the Demogorgon. But you know, we're not.
But I also think he was making a case, knowing that she was there to get information.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like he was very much going, yeah, all the people who are responsible for this are gone.
They're all gone. You know, we're a whole bunch of brand new people now. We're going to make things better.
Deniability.
Yeah. And we can't make things better without your help. You know, we can't seem to erase the mistake, but we can stop it from spreading.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just like, I just want to punch him. I just want to throw punch him. So he's like, hey, dude, you know, we've got some visitors today. Is that okay? Yeah, the more the merrier. Ha ha ha. You know, so now they're in the room with the gate to the upside down and everything, and they're like, "See, look at us. We can't erase this, but we can keep it from spreading." And you know, they're showing the flame throwers and everything.
Your douchebag voice.
What's that?
I'm really enjoying your douchebag voice.
Thanks.
Kelly, what's a douchebag sound like? Well, probably gonna sound kind of like a dick.
Well, it's gonna sound like this, and sometimes you're gonna go, "Oh," you know, because that's what douchebags do.
Laugh.
Yeah, a douche laugh. And then he's like, we need to stop the information from spreading, because if this falls in the hands of the Russians, can you imagine? That's why we need your help. You're important to me.
That logic, though, didn't sound too bad, though. I mean, could you imagine the
It's
Russians?
true.
They can't do anything now.
1984 Cold War,
they were legitimately just as bumbling retarded back then too.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Look at Chernobyl.
So we need to stop the truth from spreading to protect society. Like,
yeah, well,
yeah, suck it. So we're about most of the way through the episode now. Will is frantically drawing still, like picture after picture, like scribbling so fast, throwing it on the floor and scribbling again. Hopper and Joyce are looking at it like he's just doing the same thing, and they're like, but what if the pictures connect?
Right.
So then they start connecting all the pictures together, and it looks like a huge path or huge tunnels. Maybe it's roots, and it's spreading and killing. And Hopper's like, no, it's not roots, it's vines. And he's like, I gotta go. So he leaves. We're at the school, and Lucas and Max are walking out of the school after school. Max is like pissed. She's like, you fucking ghosted me like all day. I thought we were friends. And Lucas is trying to say, there's just things that you can't know, for your own safety. And she's like, is it because I'm a girl? Did Elle know? And Lucas is like, how do you know about Elle? Anyway, it was different with Elle. And Max is like, like, stuff it. Like, go fuck yourself. So,
right.
Because she has no idea the gravity of the situation. She just knows that she was ghosted. But Elle wasn't ghosted, but she's ghosted, So she feels like she doesn't fit in anymore. When she finally thought she found some friends in a new city, she walks over, hops into Billy's car. Billy like grills Max over Lucas. Why are you talking to him? Is he causing trouble? He's a piece of shit, Max, but we're family now. Max is like sarcastic, like, what the fuck do you care? Like, oh yeah, you're my brother. And like Billy, that asshole, grabs her wrist, like, and it looked like it was hurting. Grabs her wrist, stay away from him. She's crying, and
I thought it was super weird that he took that stance about Lucas too. Like, I just like, why?
There's a secret going on. There's something fucked up going on. Like, how come they weren't family, but now they're family? And you can't talk to these people. You can't talk to certain people. Like, what secret? Like, dude, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many possibilities.
Fucking crazy.
We flash over to Hopper. He's in the dead pumpkin field with a shovel, and he just starts digging. We flash over to Elle, who's still by herself and still reading through the files. She comes across Terry Ives's file when they were looking at her. When we speculated that Terry was probably Elle's mom. She reads that Terry Ives had a daughter named Jane. And then she sees Terry Ives, picture of her with Papa. Elle gets her radio.
Papa's her biological father, or do you think that there's another layer in there somewhere?
I know Papa was in charge of all the LSD experiments, but I don't know who procreated with her.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if she was there working on shit. She banged Papa. She went back,
right?
and then Papa come after her to take the kid and found out the kid was different.
Huh. So Papa might have like two meanings, like double meaning.
Yeah, like Papa might actually be Papa. Won't matter.
Oh, that would be like so gross.
He's dead.
Yeah. That'd be so, that's like so gross. Like when we were trying to figure out who banged the Emperor, Palpatine, in order to get Rey, you know, like Papa's kind of like the Emperor to me. It's like, ugh, who would want to bang him? Ugh. Anyway, so Elle needs to investigate this because Elle is picking up that, you know what, that might just be my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Elle gets out the radio. She tunes into the static. She puts her blindfold on. She holds the picture. She's like totally meditating on this picture right now and goes into the world between worlds.
Right.
I don't know what it's really called. I just call it the world between worlds.
That's as good an answer as any.
Yeah, it's not the upside down, but it's not the real world. So
right. But it seems to be a place where the upside down can touch.
Yeah.
Or the real world and the upside down can.
Yeah. Yeah. She actually sees Terry still in her rocking chair because she was catatonic all this time. She keeps repeating over and over again, rainbow, 3 to the right, 4 to the left, 450. Just over and over again. So I really want to know what that means because that's got to mean something. They wouldn't just make her say something for no reason.
100% that's coming back.
Yeah, because they keep placing things like everything, like in season 1 when we didn't know what was throwaway and what we needed to pay attention to, and
seemed everything like a combination
together. Yeah, rainbow, 3 to the right, 4 to the left, 450. Terry stops and she looks up and she actually sees Elle.
Right.
She's like, Jane. And Elle says, Mama. And Jane, her what's her name? Terry. Irene heard her, you know, Terry
Ives.
Terry Ives. Thank you.
Me, myself, and Irene. What?
Yeah, I know. Like, where did Irene come from?
It's in there somewhere.
I don't know. It's in my head for some reason.
It's in the sauce. You're Italian. You do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the sauce.
It's in the sauce. It's in the sauce.
You got to put it in there.
It's in the gravy. It's not sauce. It's gravy.
Gravy.
It's gravy. So, like, and then they touch hands.
Mm-hmm. And, well, kind of.
Yeah, like they touch fingers.
Yeah.
And then she just evaporates. Mm-hmm. And Elle is like screaming, Mama. And she's like bawling her eyes out because she was like right there. She was right there. So like that kind of like, it tweaked my mom nerve.
Mm-hmm. A super sad moment. Elle's had a lot of those in the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
The last couple episodes, they've asked her to do a lot.
And honestly, Elle needs her mom. Elle needs her mom, not so much because she's like, you know, has superpowers or anything, but a teenage girl needs their mom because there's a lot of talks that they need to be having. There's this boy that she really likes that she thinks she's in love with. Hopper just doesn't understand. Hopper's trying to keep her safe, you know, and all Elle wants is to go see her boyfriend. And, you know, a girl needs her mom for that stuff.
Yeah. Dad types have different assignment.
Yeah. They don't understand.
But it's not that we didn't understand. It's that our assignment is different.
Exactly. You're not the nurturers. You're the protectors, you know? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You can be nurtured in a place that is set up to allow that, but you're
okay, I see you have a boyfriend, but if he ever does something wrong to you, I'm going to kick his ass. That's what dads do,
Right.
Yeah. So we leave that scene. We're with Mike now. It's still after school. Mike did follow through and he went right to Will's house. Joyce is like, oh, Will's not feeling well. I'll tell him you stopped by. And Mike's like, it has to do with the shadow monster, doesn't it? And Joyce is like, what did you say?
The fuck what now?
She just stops and spins around like,
The plot thickens like the sauce.
The gravy. It's the gravy. The sauce.
Who calls fucking spaghetti sauce gravy?
Well, if it's made on Sunday, it's a Sunday gravy.
It is?
If it's really thick, it's a gravy.
Why?
Because that's what it is.
Why would you make pasta sauce thick like gravy?
Well, that's just the way it is. It's gravy. It's gravy, and you got to get the max, and you put the gravy on the max.
Wow. Wow. We just went somewhere, kids. I don't know where the fuck we went, but it was an Olive Garden.
One. Fuck Olive Garden. Garden is American Italian. It's not really.
I have feelings about Olive Garden now that I didn't used to have because they changed their red sauce. And their red sauce now is so like cheap and tomato pasty and garbage, and it really sucks. And it wasn't good before.
I love that you said that. And we don't call that red sauce. We call that marinara.
Yeah, it's marinara sauce. Red sauce.
Yeah. Marinara.
Okay.
We don't say red sauce in Italian. Well, not that I've ever been to Italy, but my people don't call it red sauce.
What do you mean, you people?
Italians, we don't call it red sauce. It's marinara.
It's too many hard R's. We're not doing that either.
Where was I?
I don't know.
Okay, Jonathan.
The red sauce.
The red sauce. It's marinara.
Marinara.
That's how you say it in New York.
Yeah. I wonder if people over in Italy are like, the fucking people in New York don't know how to say it either.
Yeah, probably.
Half-ass Italians.
That's funny. Look at this chick. She's not Italian. She's white as a ghost.
She hasn't ever seen an olive.
Oh man, that was funny.
Anyway, where were we?
Anyway, Jonathan and Nancy are getting escorted out of the lab now that they all came to this understanding. Mm-hmm. So they're escorted back to the lab. They hop into Jonathan's car, and that one guy from the park is like, "Hey, have a nice day," and Nancy. They start driving away. Nancy,
wait.
Yeah.
Car fires right up.
Right up.
They fixed this car
right up. Like there's nothing ever wrong with that car. Which, how did the car get from the park to the lab to begin with?
They obviously brought it and then they fixed it.
Yep.
There's a whole lot of weird fuckery going on there.
Yeah. Total fuckery.
Every time he starts that car from now on, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah."
Mm-hmm. Yep. Whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if they bugged it too.
Well, that was the thing, is I was thinking that as they're driving out of what's the name of the town?
Hawkins. Yeah.
They're driving out of town. There's a sign that says now leaving Hawkins.
Now leaving Hawkins. And she's got her brand new Walkman had a tape recorder part to it, and she recorded the whole thing.
I was thinking, I was like, well, fucking how if they bug the car, and then I was like,
Mhm.
they can't bug the car
Why can't they?
because they don't have any phone lines to run it on.
Oh, duh. You're
It's
right.
1984.
It's 1984. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So they
At
probably
this
did bug
time, they had bugs, but they weren't even wireless.
Right. You're
They
right.
would
You're
they
right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
we
I didn't
still
think about that.
predate, like, wireless technology.
Yeah.
There's no such thing
Yeah.
as Wi-Fi, or you can do a satellite
Yeah.
connection, but you need
You need the
stuff.
gigantic
Yeah.
satellites.
We
Yeah.
got a satellite phone, that son of a bitch was this big, and it had a fucking antenna on
The
it.
antenna,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
4 or 5 foot tall antenna that
Yeah.
goes on your roof.
My mom's friend had a car phone,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing was this big.
Yeah.
It had a battery pack that was like this,
Yeah.
that was plugged into the car all the time.
Yeah.
And you only had about 30 minutes to talk, and it would die. So the
Mm-hmm.
car couldn't even charge that battery as fast as it went dead. And there was a wire that went out across the dashboard and out to the top to the antenna
Yeah.
that it needed to connect to the satellite.
Yeah.
So there's no bug in this car, is what I'm saying.
Christopher's mother had one of those too. For emergencies, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the
Bringing
thing too, is it was
dinners.
super expensive to use. The battery died immediately, so it was like, well, you can't use it. Well, then
Yeah.
what the fuck you got it for?
Yes.
Well, in case of an emergency.
Case of an
Oh,
emergency.
chances are, if you have an emergency that you need a fucking private phone for,
Yeah.
there's no service there.
What they call it, like the bag phone? It's a bag phone.
Briefcase phone.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. They were huge.
Mm-hmm. So like Jonathan's like, hey Nancy, still want to do this? And Nancy's like,
And then
let's
she's like,
burn
yeah.
that map to the ground. She's like, like super bitch mode, Nancy. So yeah.
Which I'm still maintaining that there's really nothing incriminating on that tape.
Right.
Because it's literally was like, yeah, some people did some bad shit. They're gone. We're the cleanup crew.
So like, I'm wondering, like, Barb's parents moved, so, or did they move? They were going to move, but did they move yet? And are they leaving Hawkins to go see Barb's parents? Or is she just going straight to that investigator?
I don't know.
Yeah, that wackadoo investigator. But anyway, we're at Dustin's house, and Mom is like, Mew Mew Kitty, it's time to eat. Where are you? And Dustin's like, you know, oh hey Mom, I'm going into my room. Goes over and he starts talking to the thing, and he pulls the sheet off the tank, and it's like, oh shit. The tank glass is all busted. There's this like slimy piece of skin in there. And then he turns around and he hears something. And then he starts following a blood trail over to the corner of his room. And there's D'Artagnan eating a fucking cat. Like, the thing is like bigger than a dog. And it's eating the fucking cat. Like, holy fuck. Shit just got weird. No, shit's been weird. Shit just got real.
Right.
Like, dude, the thing's just like munching tough on the cat. And then he's like, bleh! And I'm like, oh, it's a fucking baby Demogorgon.
Yeah. Yeah, it clearly is.
Fucking Demogorgon. Like, oh my gosh, I never saw that coming. I never saw that. I thought it was going to be a weird creature from the, you know, the Upside Down, but I never thought it was a baby Demogorgon.
Yeah, I suspected. But I mean, we originally suspected that when, like, old boy coughed a slug into the sink.
Well, yeah, but my thoughts changed since then.
Well, it's because you saw the polywog.
Yeah.
But now that it's in this next phase, you can look at it and go, oh, it's gonna stand up on, you know, as it gets older. And
It's gonna lose two of its legs are gonna become arms, and like, dude, total, like, mind totally blown, like motherfucking Demogorgon, and it's eating the big fat cat. How you gonna cover that up, Dustin?
Yeah, and there's like a trail of blood all the way through the
whole
room.
Yeah. Eventually, your room's gonna smell, and you have a fucking baby Demogorgon in your room. How you gonna cover that shit up?
Right.
It's not even in the upside down.
You're not gonna like just put a laundry basket over it and go, I got him.
Yeah.
Like it blew through the side of your fish tank.
Yeah. And you also have to fess up to your friends that you've been lying to. Your bros, you lied to them. You broke the bro code.
Bro code.
So if this ending isn't like mind-blowing enough, we have a second ending, which is what I'm calling it. It's not really a second ending. That's just what I'm calling it. Hopper's digging. It's nighttime now. The stars are out. He digs and it's like squelch. And it's like, ew, what did he hit?
Right.
Like, and he's like, squelch, 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 squelch. And then it's hollow. And he climbs down into what is like hollow tunnels in the fucking upside down.
Right.
And you're like, what? And then all you hear is bang, and then the end credits start rolling.
I thought like, that was wild. Like as he was piercing through it, it was like weird sticky goo. And then so the upside down has grown its way into like literally right underneath Hawkins.
Yeah. It vined out.
Yeah.
It's totally vined out. And I bet you it's a direct correlation to like every time, like the upside down, it's growing and, you know, in the lab, and then they do the whole fire bit and everything that they fire, like vines are underneath it now, I guess. Like tunnels and like, dude. So we've got a baby Demogorgon and Hopper's in the tunnels of the upside down underneath the rotten pumpkin field.
Yep. Things are weird.
Things are fucking weird, dude. Oh. So, before we close out, because I know we still have a couple minutes, I just wanted to thank everybody who supported Tavern for Tom. Not only did we make almost $2,000 in donations, but we actually went for 27 hours. I shut down. I can't
believe you guys did that.
We started Friday at midnight, and I shut the stream down just after 3 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Fucking crazy.
We had so much support. We had like a ton of people in the chat on Saturday when we rolled with this premiere on Saturday afternoon. And I just wanted to say thanks, you know, sharing the hashtags and being our cheerleaders. Like, it just really meant a lot to us. So thanks, everybody.
I was kind of bummed out I couldn't be around more. Like every time I'd go to get on, I'd have to do something else. I popped in like 3 or 4 times. I was like, hello. And then I popped off.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure like we only had like a week to plan it. And I'm sure like if this was something that we would have planned, you know, for several weeks in advance, I'm sure you could have been there, but it was.
Well, that was Michigan State Day.
Yeah, exactly. And you had tickets that you bought, you know, like
I had to work, and then I had to squeeze in a nap because I knew I was going to be up till 2 a.m.
Yeah. But you popped in and saw us. You were cheering us on.
It was a day.
It was a day. So yeah, mad thank yous to everybody. Tina was the one who won our Grogu Pop.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she won our Grogu Pop. So that was really cool. I can't remember the question that I asked for it either. That I think I only grabbed like maybe 3 hours of broken up sleep over that period of time.
I remember Chris was like taking power naps the next
few
days.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was mind-blowing, the generosity, and it kind of renewed my faith in humanity. I felt replenished after doing that, just seeing everybody pulling together as a community. So just wanted to say thank you. And last time I checked, we had 51 followers, which really kicks ass. Thank you for helping us get to that goal. I don't remember if
we're still at 51.
That. Yes. Thank you, guys. Tell your friends. Let's try to get to 100.
Tell your friends.
Mm-hmm. Try to get to 100. Join us on this journey.
Touch us.
So next week we're going to have a live show.
Yeah. With guests.
We're going to have Salacious Rum, part of the Monkey Lizard Army. And we're also going to have Madame Chantal from Scarif podcast and Scarif After Dark.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be good times. So join us live next Friday, November 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern for a good time call. Jenny.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. And we'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye, friends.
Bye.